At the end of the 50s, by which time he'd become an icon of rebellion, Marlon Brando founded a production company called Pennebaker. He wanted to make a Western and spent ages developing scripts. Then someone gave him Charles Nider's novel, The Authentic Death of Henry Jones, about a bank robber called Rio, deserted by his friend, who has the Oedipal name of Dad Longworth. He immediately took to it and said at the time, "Our early heroes were not 100% brave all of the time. My role is a man who is tough and vain and childish." Stanley Kubrick was to direct, and Carl Malden, who had been in A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront with Brando, was to play the friend, Dad. When Kubrick saw the finished script, which was part written by his long-term collaborator, Calder Willingham, and by Sam Peckinpah, he bottled out, saying that he didn't understand what it was about. Brando tried Sidney Lumet and Elia Kazan. Both refused, so he decided to direct it himself. The production was endless. Brando threw away the script, improvised many scenes, shot different angles with different dialogue, got drunk when his character was to get drunk, filmed for 6 months, spending $6 million rather than the budgeted $1.6 million. The first cut lasted 6 hours. Paramount had hated it, and in particular how everyone in the film lied apart from Malden's character. According to Brando in his laddish autobiography, they cut the movie to pieces. By then I was bored with the whole project and walked away from it. The fact that the shots don't match when Brando and Malden meet for the first time in 5 years does suggest that this scene was reshot.
I knew you'd be coming sooner or later. I'm glad you come. Because there's something I've been wanting to tell you for a long, long time. How about a drink?
All right.
Revenge is the driving force of many of the best westerns of the 50s and since, such as The Searchers, The Naked Spur, and Once Upon a Time in the West, and so it is here. What really works, I think, is that Brando takes most of the action out of the genre. His revenge on his friend is long delayed. His performance is almost expressionless, so the effect is a slow accumulation of rage.
Get up, you scum-sucking pig.
And all round this pressure cooker of a character is tumult, the great use of wind and dust storms and the almost constant presence of the sea, the Big Sur, which expresses the build-up of unease as it does in Hitchcock's Vertigo. All this is beautifully shot in blue and gold velvety tones with compositions like George O'Keeffe paintings by veteran cameraman Charles Lang. And Brando could hardly be accused of picking a self-aggrandizing role. Rio is an out-and-out heel, adolescent as many method roles are, because the actors were taught that their angst comes from teenage problems. Brando's lover in the film, played by Pina Pellicer, is worth a mention. Her intense close-up performance was the only one she gave in English-language cinema before she killed herself 3 years later. The scene where he lies to her about a necklace by saying it was his mother's is very brave, and the whipping scene shows how much he understood about acting. He does little, but watch the extras. They stare at the horror, and Brando gave a bonus to the ones who winced most.